Let's go more on the talks between China and the U.S. and the future of TikTok and all sorts of other things. We're joined by CNBC contributor Dueling McNeal, who served in the Obama administration. He's now senior policy analyst at Longview Global. Dueling, great to see you.
Melissa, great to see you as well.
I want to focus in on this TikTok deal. While we know very few details, there's one detail that Eamon did talk about just now, and that is the idea of who controls the algorithm. And the Vice Commerce Minister earlier this week, I believe it was, said very clearly that regardless of what deal it is, it's not going to violate Chinese principles. And I would imagine that Chinese principles would include control of that algorithm, which was developed by the company. What's your take on whether or not a deal like this, even though we only know sort of the vague shadows of the deal right now, whether that actually complies with what China thinks would be right in principle?
Yeah, this is a very important point here, Melissa, because what you have now is what we've talked about for a while, and that's dueling laws and regulatory regimes. And I will reserve comments until I see the details of the deal. But what's coming out on the U.S. side, at least from where I am sitting, does not adhere to the protecting Americans against foreign adversarial control applications. That is the law, which talks about complete divestiture, including the algorithm here, Melissa. So, again, I want to reserve judgment until I see it. But so far, it doesn't seem like this is going to adhere to that law.
Wardrick, what does China gain by this? I mean, at the end of the day, again, Melissa's brought up this issue of principle. They can stand behind principle, and I think they will. And on a lot of levels, we've seen since the trade war negotiations really got going in earnest that China has made it clear that they are going to hold their ground. And largely to this point, not only have held their ground, but are in much better shape than most would have expected them to be. So why do they do this deal? And what do you think the trade-off was?
Yeah, this is also a good question here, Tim. Look, I think for China, this is all optics and principle. It is showing that it has the leverage to really defend and protect its interests, its companies. And so I don't think this is a core issue, really, for China. But they will continue to show the rest of the world and us that they have agency here and that they can make sure that it's clear that these are their laws, their rules, their way, and we're going to negotiate for the best deal for Chinese companies. That's what I think they get out of this, Tim.
Wardrick, let me build upon Tim's fantastic question and ask, where does Taiwan play in all this? Are they a pawn in this game somehow? Is there, are there levers being pulled that you give us this, we'll give you that, we'll back off on the Taiwan front?
Again, you guys are on it today. Look, I think I'm very concerned at the lack of a Taiwan discussion here in Washington in this administration. I don't think this came up today in this call. And why? Because we learned that over the summer, a $400 million package of defensive weapons that we had agreed to sell to Taiwan did not go through. This is music to China's ears. And so I don't know that Taiwan is a pawn. I don't think that Taiwan, unfortunately, is even an issue. And that should be concerning to a lot of people.
Just this week, Wardrick, China told its companies in China to not buy NVIDIA chips. It's not the H20, but it's another one, RTX 6000D, that has AI uses. And so it continues with this drumbeat of don't buy American technology because we're afraid of the national security risk on the Chinese side. And so I'm wondering, Wardrick, if you think at the end of the day here, given this conversation between Xi and Trump, if we're any better off, if we're any closer to some sort of trade deal, if there's going to be any more progress at APEC, or if your view of the situation is the same as earlier this week, before the call?
Well, look, I don't want to downplay a leader-to-leader call. That's always important. In terms of moving the dial on the core issues, though, Melissa, I don't think that we are there. Let me just quickly say that what I hope to see happen when they meet on the sidelines at APEC is a discussion about critical minerals. That deal is set to sunset in the first week of December. We don't have an answer for critical minerals. I think that's a very important thing for us to keep at the forefront here. So again, I think this is an important call. It's an important step, but I think we're a long ways away from some sort of comprehensive deal between the U.S. and China on trade. There's a lot of things still left to discuss.